So happy Saturday, everyone. We're here with a roundtable discussion about real estate investing in various forms. And we have Rodney Madison here from Maryland, um, Maurice Thomas Jr. from Georgia, and the note doctor, Dr. Ivan Ferrero from Florida. So we have a strong East Coast contingent here. So- and we're going to, we've been talking about, last week we talked a little bit, and we will continue talking about some form of shared residencies or group home situations. And Maurice has both a charity and also a regular business related to this. So maybe you can explain what you're doing, Rod, Maurice.
Sure thing, sure thing. So I um we have Touch by Glam Homes, Touch by Glam Charity. Those two married together lets us impact our community as it relates to the different groups that we service. At risk populations, could be some, populations returning from prison. It could be aged out foster care. It could be anyone leaving homes as it relates to sobriety and different things of that nature. So we have four of those, and we have, well, three of them are specific to certain demographics. The one that we have, that one is more so towards the general population. People who have either bad credit or people who have like records, or a combination of both. So, those two, the business itself married with the charity, lets us, give back to the community. And not only that, give people a second chance to, you know, get reintegrated back into society there. But as it relates to, like specific demographics and different things of that nature, um, we have different tiers as it relates to like how things are paid. So you can either get paid through the state, um, or you can actually have private pay, especially when you're using, where you're getting those benefits from the state. It could be very, very lucrative, but it is more like you need to be more involved in the business. If you know anything about myself or anyone that's at the round table, we really like the mailbox money. So I like the ones where everyone kind of just pays on time. However, it is times where it may be disconnect, like from someone, Social Security benefits or something of that nature has changed, or it impacts their banking, as it relates to them. Um, they may have issues with their banking that may prevent payments. But for the most part, um, the funding itself, like if you're getting paid through the state, I'll let individuals kind of like look it up as it relates to their state and their county, as it relates to the different types of homes. Like I said, even when it comes to assisted living, like I don't have any assisted living homes there. However, those they can pay a pretty good penny, but again, you need to have a well developed staff, and you need to make sure that you are in a position where you understand the treatments that the individuals need. You can always hire or kind of outsource those services that individuals may need. However, again, if you're just getting started, you should probably start off with just casting the net and see what demographic that you need to support the most there. So hopefully I answered that question. I know it's all over the place.
Maurice, I got a question for you. How
Sure
do
thing.
people find you and the services that you provide? Because you mentioned if they're coming out of prison, do you have any relationships with them? If you said aged out of
Foster care.
foster care,
Mhm.
do you have a relationship with them? How are they finding that you can help them out during that transition?
That's a great question. So Nadia, this is like Nadia's baby, and Nadia is my wife. And more specific, as it relates to our job duties, like I find the real estate, and she actually does the operational piece. And the reason why I say operational piece, she kind of reached out to United Way,
Okay.
started there and started with the conversations, went through the process of getting listed with 211. So we always are getting calls. more specific, the calls are coming from the local agencies in Atlanta. And like we don't service Atlanta, but I actually belong to a group of um, investors, coupled with a mentor that I have as well in the space. Um, and we kind of delegate them to each other. So we kind of use each other. Like we'll reach out and say, hey, can you take this woman? She actually has a child. Or could you take, mainly for me, like I'm turning away women right now because we don't have a house for women and we don't do co-ed. So I'm mainly turning away from women. But to answer your question, Rodney, Nadia has partnered with United Way. She has relationships with the Salvation Army in Griffin, Georgia. That coupled with like the urban leagues, and she actually joined the Chamber of Commerce as well. So people know of her and people know where to actually find her as well. So 844 say glam. If you can remember that number, it's 844 say glam is her contact number. And then even like myself, I support her as well. So I may take a call. The website itself, Greg has been working very, very hard and updating the website itself. If you want to donate or if you want to volunteer or anything of that nature, you could visit touchbyglamhomes.com. Or if you're looking to see what kind of services that we provide, kind of like what Rodney asked her, you can go visit Touch by Glam Residency. And any of those you can actually find our contact information, meaning emails there. You can also maybe book a call, just kind of pick our brains, anything of that nature. But 844 say glam, you can definitely reach either her or myself at that contact number.
Yeah. I should bring up that we haven't actually connected the domains to the new sites yet, but if you go to the old one, that has the same information on it. It's just going to change its look and a few things on it.
Yes. Great question, Rodney.
So, Ivan, you said you were talking to somebody else about a similar kind of plan for sober living related to this. So, do you have a question, or what did you learn about it?
So what I learned about is that, like Maurice said, that there are government agencies that help out in some way or some form people that have either aged out of foster care, or people that are part of they've been released from prison. They have good standing, I guess, a good standing in the prison system, and they're released out into I guess what might be called a return to society program. I know that there is a ministry called Prison Fellowship that works with individuals nationwide that helps them reintegrate into society, and they connect with local employers who are willing to hire these individuals. And I guess the most famous one that I heard of was Famous Dave's. Famous Dave's, he has a bread line. Well, actually, he sold it to a company, but they maintain his original recipe and standards. Famous Dave was his family was in the bakery business, and he went out by the wayside when he was in the prison. He decided to reincorporate himself into the family business, and he built the family business. Now it's nationwide. So
we can buy it in Canada even.
Yeah. Oh, so you guys are lucky up in Canada, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think I think there was a foundation or a nonprofit connected to Famous Dave's, where they actually take individuals that have left prison to reincorporate them into society.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that model because if you marry those two together, you can get state funding, and then a portion of it you can get donations from, like the Targets, the Walmarts, or different things of that nature, and it really helps them go a long way. So to add to that, I would say, let's say the state is giving $700, just for the room, and then maybe you can, get donations, for a different portion to kind of offset their board. And then maybe you can give service where, you're cooking 3 hot meals a day or 2 hot meals and different things of that nature. So it can get very, very complex on the type of services that you're doing,
Mhm.
and coupled with what you want to offer, to them. So I think, like Dr. Ivan, one of the things that I would say is when people want to reach us as well, like when we first started, we simply just went to churches. We went to our home church, and then we just went to other churches in the community. Hey, we have rooms, we have beds available. And then the second portion was we just made a quick flyer, and we went to the local, motels and hotels and said, hey, you're doing long-term living, and we kind of pass our flyers out there. But again, that demographic is more so like we didn't cast a net and pick a certain demographic first. But like you saying, Dr. Ivan, that model that he has is very lucrative, man. But
Yeah.
you got to make sure your processes and systems are
Right.
like tight. anything with the state involved, you got to make sure your top process is tight.
Yeah. And what he does, what this person told me is that he rents out the property to Section 8, and it was mind blowing what he was telling me, and I actually messed up. I gave the wrong reference. It's Dave's Killer Bread, not Famous Dave's.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen the commercials.
You
Yes.
see the commercials? Okay. Right.
Yes. So Paul Levine brought this up a few weeks ago when he said, when we were talking about investment opportunities, and he brought up these group homes in California where and I think the model there was you have something like 4 residents, and the state paid quite a lot, more than $10,000 a person a month. But as Maurice said, is you have to have an administrator. There are all sorts of lots of hoops you need to go through. I'm wondering if that's like from a real estate investing opportunity, if that's a place where you're providing the property or whatever, and then you have another organization that's running the operation. I was wondering if that's a possible model for this.
Yeah, that's a great call out. That's pretty much how we got started. I think someone asked me last week. Matter of fact, Larry asked me, "Hey, do you have anything in a trust?" So the 2 properties that we own, we do have 2 of them that we own. The other 2 we sublease. But to give you an idea of, it's a guy out of Atlanta, Adris, who has at the time, this was maybe back in October, he had 11 homes in a matter of I don't know, maybe 24 months max, but he had 11 homes, and he was able to scale, fairly quickly. And I would say here, we're in the month of April, he may have, closer to 20 now, but he's really, his background was real estate. So you can see that he's able to, secure the properties and different things of that nature. So that's the kind of approach that I actually have. Like, I like to find the real estate. I like to look for note investors more specifically who have properties that they have, you know, uh, taken back from the tenant, non-paying tenants, and they gave cash for keys for whatever reason, however they got the property. So I like those kind of investors. But maybe I can get him on next week here and see if he has some capacity. I know he's doing a conference across the United States right now. He's known as the pretty house guy or something of that nature. I forgot.
What was his name again?
Idris is spelled Idris, and Idris' last name is Talib, I believe, Talib.
Okay.
People might know him. He used to play basketball for UNV. So, but the point is,
His first name, I'm sorry.
I call him Idris. I'm not sure if I'm announcing it right, but it's D as in dog,
D.
R-I, D as in Delta, RIS.
Okay. So yeah, so
Idris.
maybe yeah, he might be a good guest for this.
I think he would be a good guest. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, question, Maurice, did you this idea? Were you able to set up the nonprofit with Dr. Young?
Yes. Well, yeah, Dr. Yeah, I forgot her first name, but Dr. Jones.
Jones.
And,
Jones. I don't know why we'll call
Yeah. So
The senior moment, I'm telling you.
so long story short, just to give you an idea, like it happened really fast. Like I I closed on a property, and then I quickly realized that it was another portion, kind of like you said, like with the nonprofit charity portion of it. I was
Mhm.
like, man, we need a foundation. So we already had the contact as it relates to Dr. Jones. So we reached out to Dr. Jones, and she was able to get all the paperwork in before the holiday. And know, maybe by like December 20th, I would say, we had approval. We had our nonprofit in place and different things of that nature. But again, Dr. Jones was very essential in that and letting us know if we were doing things right, especially as it relates to, like I said, the HUD. I got the
Mhm.
HUD information from her, like, hey, I need you to go here, here, and here. Maybe Dr. Jones would be a good fit as well. Like if she has some
I think.
capacity, maybe we'll get her on as well. Great question.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. Good.
And that's the same lady that came on Desi's program.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. She's been on at least once anyway.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Great contact. She's very knowledgeable, in informing you what you need, from the difference between, like, she explained all the different ones, like the foundation, the 501c, the charity. Like I thought they were all one. I thought that all the words were interchangeable, but it's not,
No.
and she kind of explains the difference and why
Yeah.
you need different
Okay.
entities for what.
Yeah.
So especially if you're going to be taking any money from the state and you need to pay yourself, you need to make sure all that's in place. Like we're not at that level, but when it comes to agencies, like Nadia has those partnerships, so she's able to, get funding for someone for maybe 2 or 3 months, and then from there we have to make sure, they're paying, because that's the most important piece. Of course, we want them to have reasonable housing and different things of that nature, but we still want them to have the supports that they need as it relates to them being financial savvy, being able to, they take their own money and pay the bills, or they are getting their stipends or different things of that nature, and being able to go to the bank and properly divvy out money based on what they need, what their needs are. But it's a big portion of the population, guys, too, where people just want to make sure their loved ones are taken care of, and we all
Yeah.
know that the baby boomers and different things of that nature. So that's a whole nother market. But like I said, Idris, he has. Like I said, he has 11 different houses, and he has, close to 6 different populations that he serves. So, he will likely validate everything that I'm saying as it relates to that state funding and different things of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Okay.
Rodney, like last week, Rodney talked about like the dining. Well, not Rodney, excuse me. Larry asked about the trust. So we do have a trust, but it's not sophisticated like a dynasty trust, like how Desi and Rodney and I think Dr. Ivan may have one as well. So we just have a trust that owns um, 4 businesses. So we got Pups by Glam, like all this is my wife. So Pups by Glam, TIG Legacy, which is the mortgage note business. We have Touch by Glam Homes, which is the regular LLC, and then Touch by Glam Residency, which is the charity. So that trust owns those entities there. And then, of course, you know how we do the life insurance. Our life insurance policies tie back to the trust and different things of that nature. But the will, the trust, and all that kind of good stuff. But it's not sophisticated like how Rodney has the Dynasty Trust, where he is, investing for his grandson and different things of that nature. But I kind of punt it over to Rodney there. Hopefully, I made sense there. Am I saying that right, Dr. Ivan and Rodney?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just trying to set it up for. I have 16 grandchildren, and I want to be able to leave a legacy for them. My wife and I always kid that the 401k plans, we're going to spend all of that, so the life insurance policies will benefit them. So we're going to spend all the money that we've scrimped and saved for, and the life insurance policies will be for them. So I want to make sure that we do what we're required to do as Christians, and leave something for our our descendants, so to speak.
So yeah. So Rodney, are you in your trust, are you doing anything like what Maurice is doing? Do you buying properties, or are you doing investments within that
Well,
trust?
Well, yes, I have the Dynasty Trust, but in it I also have a living trust. So um, I'm putting all of that, all the things that we're utilizing now and operating with, utilizing the living trust. Um, uh, the businesses that we have, all into that fund. I'm using, I guess you call it, the infinite banking concept with the life insurance policies. I was kind of, I had refinanced my mortgage, and I had taken that money out, and I said, well, let me see how this works. So I had like $13,000 left to pay on a vehicle that I had. So I took and paid that off. Well, I still owe myself back the payments, but it's like reusable money. So I paid myself back. I took that once I paid myself back. I still had that same amount of money that I had from the refinance, and I made an investment. I bought a note, and that note has since it's sold. The bar refinance. So I have that money back, and now I'm ready to redeploy it again. That same amount of money, plus the added interest that I've been paying on over the years. So, and that's the concept that people don't fully understand. It's reusable money.
Keep it circulating.
If I had refinanced and I just took that money and paid off my vehicle, that money would have been gone. So I love this, so I'm reusing the same money. The question was, I
Yeah, I like that. I'm sorry, guys. Let me ask this quick question. Rodney, let me make sure I unpack the beginning part right. So you refinanced and then you took the lump sum to actually start the policy and
start
get
a life
everything
insurance
going.
policy.
So that's how you funded it initially, and then
Right.
from there, you was able to make the other investment, kind of divvy out the money from there.
Exactly.
Okay. At what kind of percentage did you pay yourself back at? Like, I know that could be tricky.
You can set it to whatever you want. I
Okay.
set mine up for that particular, when I took the cash value out, I set it at 10%. I was paying myself back 10%.
10% on the car note?
Well, no, the car note was 475. So I was making,
okay.
I made an additional six.
Yeah.
So it's great. So again, the same thing I did again. I bought a note.
Yes.
The note, the interest that I was getting off, I was, you it's times two.
Yeah.
It's because it's generating cash flow and its own interest. Plus, you're making the interest from the loan. Now, you do have to pay an interest rate on the money that you're borrowing to the mutual company, but that's like 4 or 5%. So anything that you do, you want to bring in a little bit more so that it's beneficial.
Absolutely.
But even if it's not, it's your own money.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah. You're the bank, right?
You're the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal is to do exactly what Desi is doing. I want to, with all my grandchildren, I want to put policies on all of them, and only until I get the Dynasty Trust completed will I start putting policies on them. I want that pyramid set up before I start bringing them in.
and that trust will serve their children, your grandchildren and great
Exactly.
grandchildren. It just provide a sound basis financially for many generations.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, you made me think of something here, Rodney. I'm thinking, so I have a 529 plan through the state of Georgia, and I basically want to convert it, and do something like this. I think that'll be the easiest way. That way I can invest in other vehicles like mortgage notes, like with the funds versus it only being available for school funding and academic related activities for their 529 plans. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe
I'm
Larry
going to
can
do
help.
basically the same thing. I have two 401ks. One I'm not going to touch. The other one, it has a significant amount of money that I'm going to be able to buy all the different policies I want on my grandchildren. But then, utilize the cash value from that
Right.
to make it available for them. If they so choose to need to start a business or buy a new vehicle, it'll be there for them. But it's also there for me to use as an investment vehicle for other notes that I come across.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How did you like have like a group meeting and like a family meeting and sit everyone down and kind of get everyone to buy
Well,
into it, the importance of it?
I've been in all of their ears individually, but the plan is to bring them together collectively and do it. I have one son-in-law and granddaughter that are aware of the program, and I'll get them on board, and they understand what I envision for us. So we will get there. Yeah.
So the great thing about that is one of the challenges in many places is how's the younger generation going to afford to buy a house, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, so if you've got it set up, so then they don't have to qualify from for a loan from a bank. They need to qualify for a loan through the family trust, right? So
the biggest challenge I've gotten already from them is, oh wow, and I some of them think that they don't have to pay it back, and I'm like, you have to pay it back.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's just, if you don't pay it back, well, I have a cousin who had a bunch of properties, and he was actually pretty good at evicting people. And we were having a lunch with his sister, and anyway, one of the daughters was hiding in the back room because they were supposed to find a place to live, and they weren't moving to get a place to live because their mother had sold the house, and Marty says, yeah, just let me know. I'll have them out by next week. So,
yeah, that's the challenge that I have, because they have heard certain things. Well, and if you borrow from, and you don't have to pay it back. Well, it doesn't work. The big concept of it all doesn't work if you don't pay it back. So
yeah, I have benefited from that from an uncle who loaned me a lot of money, and it took me a long time to actually pay it back, but I paid it back. But it allowed me to get into a home where I wouldn't have been able to, really.
Exactly. That's the doors we want to try to open.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Rodney, you're making me think about the importance of a constitution, when they sit down.
I'm working on that now.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Yeah. Desi said that he hasn't developed that as of yet, but he's gotten all of his family on board already. So to me, that's half the battle. You can set that up.
Absolutely.
Constitution, but I want to have that already drafted and understood as I bring my children in. My children are different.
Absolutely. I was thinking about that from a standpoint of, I have a blended family and they all are at different ages. So, I would want to maybe have like a clause where they can't sue each other. If they start suing each other, they can't have access to the funds.
Yeah.
Never mind. I was gonna say something else, but I don't want to do that on live there as it relates to like things
I
that come to
understand.
mind there.
I
So
understand.
yeah,
Yeah.
I have a lot of things in there, especially things like values built from the Bible and different things of that nature. So let's just say that.
Okay.
Say that. Yeah, because we live in a victim society. I don't want no one to take anything out of context. Like, yeah, I'll say that. But
Okay.
yeah. But
So
if,
that
I'll probably this is my last one, guys. I know you're like, man, Maurice is talking today.
No,
I
you
just
can you
had
can
like
you can speak all you want. I'm fascinated by what you're doing. It after speaking with my friend yesterday, it made me wonder what are the opportunities here in my area for a sober living. And apparently there's a group that does that. They buy homes or they lease out the homes and place people in those homes. So
yes. If you can, and it kind of goes back to I think Rodney asked around the charity portion. So it's just either it depends. If you lease it through your charity, of course, or excuse me, you can buy the homes through your charity. I know you guys are probably heard of it before. And you can ask Dr. Jones when she comes on
Okay.
how she has different investors, especially in California. She has a group of women that she work with in California where they buy homes more specific through their charity. They go bid on them. And like I don't know if you guys noticed that even if you was to go to the doorsteps, not the doorsteps, but if you go to the county steps and you bid, if someone with a charity comes in and make $1 over, like they'll get first dibs. So that's something that like she's teaching and doing. But the reason why I say that is I'm gonna go back to the original one. So like when you're leasing a property, you're gonna lease it to your business. I mean everyone probably knows that, but if not, you would lease that property to your business, and you want to make sure that when you get a home under contract, you want to lease a 2 or 3 year agreement. That way you won't get everything cash flowing in a 12 to 18 months. Let's just say let's say you get the house full at 1 year. Like you don't want to have to sign another lease where someone is saying, because they figure out, like, if we're being honest with you, most savvy investors figure out how much money you make per bid. Then they would try to raise it and different things like nature. So if you can lock in a lease, $18 to $2,000, you always want to look for something that's a 4 bedroom, 2 bathroom minimum. That way they can have a private room with a shared bathroom. And then anything bigger than that, you can also have a tier model where you have a private bathroom with a private entry with a private room. So it gets really let's just look at the studio apartments in your area, and you can have that as one room, just one room. And if the mortgage is 1,800, or if you're subleasing it for 1,800 to $2,000, again, like having just 4 people in there is cash flowing. But man, it's a wonderful business. Now, if I can get 4 more properties, y'all won't see me on social media no more. I promise you. Like you won't have no trace of me. Like where's Maurice at? I promise you. I just need about if I get 4, that's ideal. That's a sweet spot. And it's kind of like what Desi teach us. If you can buy a note every 60 days, what's the criteria, guys? Like 60 is because it can't do it every 30 days because then it becomes almost I forgot what it's called. It's not related to securities, but it's a specific thing that the lawyer from Florida taught us, a few years ago. I gotta look at my notes. But my point is if I can get about 4 is the sweet spot. Like I'll be able to kind of just comfortably go on about my way, and then on the back end behind closed door get some of those mortgage notes.
Yeah, well, that's where maybe Larry Hoffman will be back in. I don't think he would. Somebody asked him, says, "How many notes did you buy this week?" So, yeah, no, this is great. So actually, I think this is almost an opportunity. Is anybody listening has got an appropriate house? contact Maurice because you're looking for a place, right? Places and opportunities.
Yeah, it got it. I'll share my criteria next week, and I'll just give you a baseline. If it's anywhere between, if it has access to a train, if it has access to a bus, MARTA system, whatever it may be, subway. You want it to be ideal for that. That way, individuals can commute comfortably into their different programs that they need to go to, work, and so on. Another thing is, making sure that's not near a school, making sure it's not near anywhere where um, a certain demographic won't be able to, be into that home. And then again, the last thing I would say is just making sure the home itself is in good condition. Because when you get under contract, you don't want to take care of no fees or bills anything more than 500. That's kind of like what we put in our clause. Like we'll take care of everything less than 500, but the roof is yours, the HVAC, anything major, that's yours.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, you want to make sure they take care of that, and you kind of want to mention that. I want to say mention it last because sometimes it can be a deal breaker. But for myself,
Yeah.
and it's something I've been talking to Greg about, I probably want to make sure that I do another like landing page where people, people who have investment properties or different things of that nature, they can go and learn more about our mission and what our goals are as we begin to scale.
Yeah.
I know, I'll just say that. Like, maybe I get a landing page where people can know and see exactly what the mission and what the goal is, of Touched by Glam Homes. And
Yeah.
if Nadia was here, you can hear her touch a little bit more on it because she's truly passionate about it. Not saying I'm not passionate about it, but again, I'm more so. I love notes. I love the notes.
So the other thing that Maurice and I have been talking about is creating a course, a program to teach the model with all those things about the criteria for the houses, all the ins and outs. so people know what they're going into that investment with their eyes wide open. They know what they're getting involved with. So that's something down the road we're going to put together, collaborate on a course for that.
Oh yeah, I have a horror story about a property that I got under contract in December of 2023, and Nadia wasn't able to go view the property until the last weekend, January, early February, and we already had sent our payment for that month, and the house wasn't ready. Carpet was filthy, different things of that nature, y'all. It was a big lesson, and the reason why I say that is having boots on the ground is mission critical. Kind of going back to what Dr. Ivan is saying. I totally undermined it. I was taking their word. We had some beautiful pictures of the property, and man, it was. And mind you, guys, they were leaving all the major appliances. They were leaving dishes. So all we had to do was go in and put queen size beds in every room, and then maybe put a couch in the basement. So we wasn't coming out of pocket like out of much, So, but yeah, the house wasn't ready. It wasn't clean or different things of nature. So yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah, VRBO is running a series of television ads along those themes, right? You sign up to go, and it's just a total disaster. You're living in a chicken coop with the chickens or something, So something like that. You've got this house. They're telling you it's in good shape, and when you go see it, it's not, and not what you're expecting. And like Bonnie had a rental home one time, and there was, in theory, there was a realtor keeping an eye on it, but he wasn't, and it was more or less completely destroyed. But
oh wow.
Yeah. So anyway, so there are a few cautionary tales available.
Maurice, you did turn the tables. You made it look like the brochures and the pictures that you saw, right? You got it prepped and ready.
Absolutely. You know what my worst fear is? Like a squatter or something. Because sometimes you can get a house under contract, and then it's only Nadia and I right now. We do have a couple other people out of Ohio, but if the house not in Ohio, like we will have to go down, fly down. And the worst case thing you want to happen is, man, I didn't know squatter rights was a big thing, y'all. Like if somebody get in there and they change those locks, oh my, that's my worst fear.
I republished an article that I came across that touched on that. Yeah, it was like a nightmare.
Yeah.
Something that you don't want to. You ever come across that, Dr. Ivan, yourself?
I haven't had that experience with a squatter, so I've been very fortunate.
Yeah, and I understand they have some serious rights if they do that. And it's
that is the issue that's been going on it's been highlighted since the year started. But here in Florida, the governor signed a law that basically squashes their rights. In most states, that if someone moves into a house that's not occupied and the owner doesn't do anything for 30 days, they have a right to live there. which is crazy because let's say it's an abandoned. Let's say you had a renter and it took you couldn't renovate the house within 30 days. Someone sees that place, they
Right.
change the locks, and you try to remove them. You know they have more rights than you. You know you're stuck with the mortgage.
Right. Trying to give cash for keys and oh man. I watched the whole YouTube series on one and it's real big here in Atlanta. Like, it's a lot of
Mhm.
luxury homes and different things of that nature. And a lot of these people buy these homes and they're not there for some time. And man, when they get access to these homes, it's hard for them to get them out. It's hard.
Yep.
Very challenging. You can call the police and they'll show up say, "Hey, we can't do nothing, but we here just in case something happens." And
That
it's
happened in New York. There's a couple of famous cases where uh, recently they tried to actually the homeowner went in, changed the locks, if I believe, and
Yes,
then
that's
they
the
called, they, no,
article
they
that I
called the
saw.
police. They called the police, and the police said, "No, we can't do anything. They have a right to be here."
Yeah.
Crazy.
oh man, have a right to be there. Oh man. So that's another thing too, Dr. Ivan. Like when and Rodney and Greg, when we do our contracts, they don't sign as like tenants. They're signed as I'm leasing a bed, if that makes sense. So we
Yeah.
got verbiage in there, a clause, and even in the state of Georgia, we don't have to follow the traditional eviction process, which is like close to 30 days. Like we can get people out in 3 days or so. And I told Greg, today I actually just did my first. Today was my first time giving someone an eviction letter itself. So even with that process, it's not, it's nothing formal out there. So our goal is to say, let's say we give this individual to Monday midnight. We'll take their belongings, put it into some Tupperware, not Tupperware, but those big old tubs and different things of that
Big old
nature.
trucks. Yep.
Yeah, and our goal was to keep it for 30 days. So we'll keep their belongings 30 days. And after that 30 days elapse, we'll donate it to the Goodwill or something of that nature if they don't want to come get it. So it's not like we putting their stuff out on the ground or yard or anything of that nature. We will definitely go house it, and hopefully we can collect some money on the back end, as it relates to, hey, I want to get my belongings, and like we're not gonna hold it for hostage or anything, but hey, man, can you at least take care of the storage? If not, we'll give them their belongings and go on. It's a separation. So I don't know. Maybe you guys have some ideas, or maybe Maurice, have you tried this or thought of this? I'm always open for that. So it's nothing formal, but that's our thoughts. That's how Nadia and I are looking to proceed with that.
Well, now the road that I've been down, I'm actually going through 2 foreclosures right now. So I hope there won't be any issues with anything like that going forward.
Ooh, Rodney. So are you planning to hold the property when you get it, or are you looking to find a local realtor and just unload it and get your money
I,
back?
I, I'm all about cash flow. I'm ready to move on.
Yeah. There we go. I was just about to say you're making mortgage note investing sound really good at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm hoping that Larry Hoffman will come back and we'll talk. I think what I expect Larry to talk about is this idea of a trust, but a trust used more as an investment pool or for group investors. I may not have that correct, but I think that's what he was going to talk a bit about, like something similar to what you guys are doing with your trust, only it's more an investment trust.
Yeah, I think he's doing something like a land trust, right?
Land trust, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that and how he uses those vehicles to shelter himself, and not only that, to shelter himself, but making sure that anyone that he does business with, if something was to happen to them, they ensure that they continue to get paid or whatever it
Yeah.
may be. So
Yeah.
I'm so looking forward to that structure. Definitely looking forward to it.
Okay, no, that'll
Right.
be fun, and I think we've entertained and horrified our client or our guests enough for now. So no, I think it's really good. I really Maurice, you and I are going to talk a bit more about this, teaching how to set up these, and we, in a more safe, and all those considerations we've been talking about. And we're going to probably resume getting the domain set up for the new websites today. So
Absolutely. And my action item is I'll reach out to Dr. Jones and see what her availability is, and I'll reach out to Idris as well to actually see what their availability is, and maybe we can, get them on as well.
Yeah. If they're interested, we'll add them to the LinkedIn group and grow the party. So
absolutely.
Good.
Any last comments, Dr. Ivan?
No, I don't have anything.
Do you have any offers for investors at this point?
We're offering notes for sale at 8% yield, and anybody that wants to invest passively, we have a whole bunch of notes for sale in Arkansas.
In Arkansas, okay,
Mm-hmm.
Great. Rodney, do you have anything?
I don't have anything concrete right now. I'm looking. I will be looking to purchase some notes probably next month.
Okay. Do you have a source of notes, or you're inviting people to offer notes?
I'll be looking for any opportunity that other investors may have, or any other pool of notes that I've come across myself. So.
And I know there's some really good notes in Arkansas available.
Well,
Dr. Ivan, you didn't
just sold one of my notes from Arkansas. So
yeah.
Dr. Ivan, you didn't give your contact information so people can reach out and inquire about the notes.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that. It is www.thenotedoctor.com. And there's a Calendly link on there, and call me and we'll discuss notes.
There we go. There we have a
call.
call.
Oh, Alden. Okay. Yep, Alden. Yes.
Yeah, I have a note with Alden and his dad, so it's going quite well.
Good.
14% interest return. So.
Okay.
Is that the guys from Mobile Win or Win Mobile?
Win Mobile Homes.
Yes. Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay. I know I recognize the name.
They are the ones that we aspire to be in the near future.
Yeah. So there we go.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Alden, maybe you'd want to come in and describe what you're doing here sometime for one of these Saturday sessions.
That'd be nice.
Mobile mailbox money. There we go.
That's right. And it works.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Anyway,
anyway, he says, Alden says yes. So there we go.
Okay, great. I've got to run. Got another meeting to attend to. Thanks, guys. It's been fun, and we'll see you next week.
Always, Dr. Ivan.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right. We'll see you next week.
All right. I got to run too. I stayed longer than what I thought I would, but it was getting good. So.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thanks, Rodney. That's
All
fabulous.
Right. Yeah, Maurice, we need to talk.
Absolutely. I'll get some time on your calendar, or I'll send you a text.
All right, sir. Sir Greg, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Talk to you later.
Adios.
Happy Saturday, everyone.